Hey guys, this is the Tuninator, and this is another high-level Heroes 5 Tribes of the East duel play. This is between Vangelis21 on the left as Dungeon, and Elvin on the right as Academy. Let's take a look at the respective heroes and their armies. See, Elvin has 11 attack, 3 defense, 26 spell power, and 13 knowledge. So big spell power, not that much, not quite as deep mana pool as the Academy hero will likely have, but probably more spell power, again, very offensive-oriented dungeon magic. Looking at the creatures, 1 morale, 2 luck, and 0 might skills. So this dungeon army is pretty much entirely invested in magic or shenanigans of some sort, as opposed to the might-based approach that we've seen Elvin do sometimes in his play. Vangelis is clearly going for some kind of magical dungeon here. Looking at Elvin, we see 9 attack, 8 defense, 16 spell power, and 17 knowledge. So more balanced matchup in the magic, because we can see it says 255 mana even with just 17 knowledge. So big difference there. Looking at the creatures, 3 morale, so 2 more than dungeon, but no luck, so dungeon will have the advantage of being able to quote-unquote crit a bit more. And looking at the artifacts, the majority of them are the 66% damage reduction ones on any of the creatures that aren't already immune to dungeon attack spells. So Elvin, obviously anticipating the very powerful dungeon offensive magic, has equipped most of his creatures to deal with it. So I'm interested to see what approach Vangelis takes here. Anyways, without further ado, let's get underway. And both heroes will be open. I'm looking at do have a dark here. I believe that was a mass decay. Yeah. And not really sure what's taking. Oh, I'm sorry, that was one of the weird ghost moves. So Elvin's hero will not be acting for another 5 or 6 actions, actually. Starting off by whacking on the Titans, but not doing too much. And in return, we see a fireball out on that corner, doing some fairly solid damage. The Vangelis did bring Stalker's going invisible. He did bring the Shadow Matriarchs, so he will have the advantage of being able to shoot. And interesting, the Vizier's choosing to run forward instead of attack the Hydras, instead of doing the minus luck. That's a interesting choice, as they won't seem to have much support aside from the cats. A mass buff coming out from Elvin. And a lot of gremlins dying from that decay. This is a very strong decay, even with the magic resistance. Or the spell damage resistance, they're still taking big casualties. Well, decay may be immune to that, I'm not sure, but if it's not, then that's a very strong decay. Of course, dungeon heroes also have tremendous spell power, so that could explain it. Matriarch's just wearing down the Magi a bit. I'm a huge fan of Matriarchs myself, never just level 6 shooters. Oh, and there comes the Meteor Shower. Even with that spell damage artifact, you know, the spell's only doing a third of the damage. You can see, well, actually, I'm sorry, the dungeon hero probably has, what's it called, empowered, or I think it's an empowered magic, or whatever, the skill where you cut through magic resistance. So I'm certain he is expert at that. So, although Elvin's army does have good resistance, that would explain why they're still taking so much damage from these spells. My apologies for forgetting about that. So both sides starting to kind of mix it up here. Those Viziers are going to get wailed on by those Hydras, which are much tougher than they are. Plus they have the acid blood. Dragons taking some capitals of their own. That mark of the wizards, so we can start seeing some buffs coming out here. Maybe even raises or resurrections. Vizier's trying to hitting the dragon. Oh, doing another casualty of the dragons. No losses there, but yeah, just doing some damage from the Furies. Gremlins are about that to decay. Titans nuking the Hydras. Yeah, those dragons are just getting beat on here. And they're tough, but not tough enough to stand up to 5 or 6 or 3 or 4, I guess, stacks at once. That decay is very powerful. You can see that 26 spell power and the reduction in magic resistance. He's doing a lot of damage with that. Yep, and here comes the raise, or the resurrection rather. But big meteor shower. I'm surprised he didn't, something else. I believe Mark of the Wizard's supposed to be here. The decay is really just tearing apart Elvin's army here. Well, he does have a much deeper mana to work with. The dungeon here doesn't appear to be running out anytime soon, and Elvin's really starting to run out of troops. He's gonna have to start doing some raises or summons. Well, he does have quite a bit of golems left, to be fair. But the dungeon army doesn't seem to very much have the numerical edge at the moment. Gargoyle's dying, Dragon's dying, and buffing the cats, which will likely finish the debuff. They are dead on their next activation, but yep. And there's the Mark of the Wizard. Very useful ability for especially at this stage of the Resurrection. So it's the Academy hero. Resurrect his troops really quickly, but the meteor showers are just pounding the crap out of Elvin's guys here. Still doing very good damage to the Stalkers. And it'll be interesting to see if the damage of the dungeon hero can bring down Elvin's troops faster than he's going to keep bringing them back. Because he will be able to resurrect pretty much endlessly. Uh-oh. And did that matriarch just frenzy the... that matriarch may have just frenzied the cats there, which can end very poorly. But they are dead. So we'll probably see some kind of raise again. Yep. So Elvin can just keep raising, resurrecting. He's just basically playing into your butt. Deep freeze, and they're immobilized. And there they go. So, unfortunately, Elvin will be acting again before one of the dungeon stacks can stand on the Titans, and he wants to bring them back. I'm sure the golems are doing a wonky thing there, I apologize. Oh, no, bring back the dungeons. Looks like. With the Stalkers, they're easy to clear off, but they're standing on the...
Actually, sorry, never mind. Very good move on Vangelis' part there.
He got the Stalkers killed on top of the Titans, so their body is no longer there to be resurrected. Very good move on his part. All he's got to do is just stand on top of the Academy bodies here, and Elvin's in a fair bit of trouble. But it'll be very difficult for Vangelis to get to all of them in time, bringing the cats back. Basically, what Elvin has to do here is just keep casting resurrections until Vangelis runs out of mana to counter the resurrections with, and then just kind of run him over with summoned units. See, Vangelis knows that, so he's waiting with that attack to kind of, because he's got some big damage AoE spells. He can hopefully pick off two of more of the Summoned Academy stacks at once, thus making the most use of his unlimited mana. If he runs out of mana and Elvin's still got like 150 left, he's in big trouble. He will not be able to keep those raises down. Well, the amount of stacks that Elvin has to raise are... Yep, and you can see it's exactly why Academy Heroes can be so lethal in the late game when both sides are kind of running out of steam, because they have such deep mana pools. And in fact, you can just keep raising, and you can raise 2 stacks at a time with Mark of the Wizard. It makes it very difficult to keep on the ground. But you can see Vangelis having accounted for this. Again, he's saving his mana until he can get 2 of the stacks at once. And the Gremlin's coming back now. So Vangelis really needs to get on top of the bodies of the cats in particular. They're the strongest unit Elvin can raise back at this point. So he's nuking them, hoping for but yep, the cats are back up. And Vangelis is almost completely out of mana right now. That's going to be a bit troublesome for him. Oh, but he's killing the cats. I don't know, if I were in his place, I may have either had the units stand on the genies or the cats there, because although killing them is good, I mean, it doesn't really help much if they're just going to stand right back. Or stand right in the cat's midst, because if they're going to stand, if their most powerful stack is going to stand right back up, it doesn't really help too much if you're Then again, he's a much better player than I am, so I'm sure he knows what he's doing. You can see at this point, Vangelis is pretty much out of options with no mana, and Elvin still has 70 left, so he can keep resurrecting quite a few units. And I just don't really see Vangelis being able to hold off the amount of resurrections Elvin can bring to bear here. Even those units will have crap HP from being raised so much, there'll be so much of them that the damage is going to be too intense. Again, although it was very clever of Vangelis to get the Stalker's Code on top of the Titans, or the fact that he was never able to keep the cats from being brought back to life, seems to have proved a bit fatal for him. Yeah, they're gonna Matriarchs, and the Hydras are about to go down in a sec as well. Elvin's, you know, the raising, making sure that he kind of brings the game home. And this Jujin action should just about finish him off. Yep, that's gonna be it. See the final attack here. Alrighty. So that game goes to Elvin's Academy. Very well played on both sides. Very interesting stuff. And again, you can see how Academy with that incredibly deep mana pool can just outlast even a really powerful spellcaster faction like Dungeon, get to the late game and just start raising all over the place with Mark of the Wizard. It's just if you run out of mana, you just can't really kill them fast enough to stop them with a magic army, and then you're in quite a bit of trouble. So very impressive play from Elvin here. Very well played by both sides. As always, hope you enjoyed. This is a tune-in. Look forward to more in the near future, and I'll see y'all later.